Это один вопрос, но другой вопрос, когда Аспинал тоже свой путь пройдет, и Джон Джон свой путь пройдет, когда у них у обоих закончится, вот тогда поймут люди, кто на каком уровне. Так что Аспиналу, чтобы до его уровня дойти, до наследия, очень тяжело будет. А в данный момент, да, для меня Аспинал лучший тяжелый мира.
Tom Aspinall will face Cyril Gane. Aspinall has 15 wins, and all of them are by finish.
Khabib Nurmagomedov's praise has only raised the stakes, hailing Tom Aspinall as the greatest heavyweight in UFC. Adding to it, Khabib stated that the current landscape of the heavyweight division has changed. According to Nurmagomedov, Jon Jones is no longer in the conversation as the top heavyweight guy, and Tom Aspinall has replaced him.
Не то, что его сколько, 38 ему?
Около.
Не, он-то давно ушел. Давайте будем честны. Но он за 5 лет сколько боев взял? Один бой?
2, по-моему.
Один или 2 боя за 5 лет.
Да, 2 вроде.
Он-то давно ушел. И последние бои тоже были с Сантосом и с Рейсом. Тоже неоднозначные. Такие, знаешь как. Ну, свой пик он давно прошел. Ну, подрался он с Cyril Gane'ом. Я думаю, что они дали ему денег. У каждого человека есть свой пик. И он ее давно прошел. Так что должен был он со Аспиналом драться или нет, это вопрос, ну, может быть, будет всегда стоять.
For Khabib, it's Tom Aspinall, who now stands as the real force in the heavyweight, and this is his era. He also added that at the end of Tom's career, will people be able to judge who really was the better fighter?
Это один вопрос, но другой вопрос, когда Аспинал тоже свой путь пройдет, и Джон Джон свой путь пройдет, когда у них у обоих закончится, вот тогда поймут люди, кто на каком уровне. Так что Аспиналу, чтобы до его уровня дойти, до наследия, очень тяжело будет. А в данный момент, да, для меня Аспинал лучший тяжелый мира.
Meanwhile, Dana White put all the speculation to rest by officially announcing that Tom Aspinall will face Cyril Gane next, confirming that Aspinall is stepping back into the cage to defend his undisputed title. The heavyweight showdown is locked in for October 25th in Abu Dhabi.
All right, now, UFC 321, October 25th, Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Tom Aspinall will face Cyril Gane. Aspinall has 15 wins, and all of them are by finish. Gane is the #1 ranked heavyweight. You can go to tickets go on sale this Friday. EtihadArena.ae or Ticketmaster.ae. That's all I got.
In addition, being grateful to finally have a date locked in, Tom Aspinall expressed his relief and excitement about stepping back into the cage.
It's been a little weird situation, but that's done. We now have a fight. We can move forward with that. Finally, I'm really happy about it. Like, I'm happy to just move forward and leave the last
Additionally, Tom made his ambitions crystal clear, saying that if everything goes according to plan and the UFC keeps the momentum rolling, he wants to defend his title 4 times by the end of 2026.
To be honest, I don't really keep my eye on. If they're in the top 10, I know them because I know that that's going to be a fight that could potentially happen soon.
Yeah. In the next 12 months?
I'd like to do 4.
In the next 12 months?
I'd like to do 4, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how realistic that is because, see, the heavyweights are a little bit different. First of all, there's not as many of us. Especially if you look at the top 10 now, I've beaten 6 of them now. My goal is to beat 10 in the top 10. I want to beat all 10. But it's a little bit different with the heavyweights because, first of all, there's not as many of us. Second of all, injuries happen a lot more with bigger guys. We're not as active as we are the smaller weights. But my goal is at least 3, maybe 4, between now and like the end of 26.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So I was going to put it even shorter period of time, like, because we're talking.
Outside the top 10, I don't really watch them, to be honest. Like, there's guys in the heavyweight division that I've never seen fight before. Obviously, there's some guys who've had 1 or 2 fights who I've seen just on the off chance, but I don't really go out my way to watch guys that I don't need to.
On top of that, Michael Bisping weighed in by pointing out that when you look at the UFC's heavyweight rankings, Tom Aspinall has already handled most of the top names. But Bisping stressed that Cyril Gane is different. Not only has Gane shared the cage with Jon Jones, but stylistically he brings elements that mirror what Tom does well too.
Now when you look at the UFC heavyweight rankings, As I say, Tom has beat most of them, and he's beat them in style, and he's knocked them all out. Curtis Blade, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, whoever they are, he's beaten them all up. But Cyril Gane is a little bit different. Now, of course, John Jones beat Cyril Gane in quick fashion, took him down in the first round, submitted him with a front choke. But Cyril Gane is the same as Tom Aspinall in terms of athletic ability. When I say that Tom Aspinall is a heavyweight George St. Pierre, that kind of goes to Cyril Gane as well. The man's gigantic. He's very quick. He's agile. He's light on his feet. He could run any sport on the planet. And he's almost like George St. Pierre and Tom Aspinall in the fact that he's got all those athletic attributes and qualities, but he doesn't have the grappling.
On the other hand, Bisping highlighted Cyril Gane's biggest weakness, his grappling, which he believes cost him dearly against John Jones and could easily do the same against Tom Aspinall. Bisping pointed out that while Gane's striking and movement are elite, his ground game has always lagged, making him vulnerable when facing someone like Tom.
That's what cost him against John Jones, and that's probably what's going to cost him against Tom Aspinall. You never know, he could clip him. This is a dangerous fight. This is heavyweight MMA, but Tom Aspinall can grapple. We've seen him take people down. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was about 15 years old. His dad is going to be on his case, and that's an absolute fact, saying, hey, you're not messing with this guy. Take him down, show him what you can do, show the world your grappling capability. Remember, Cyril Gane turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler, okay? So he's a very, very credible threat on the feet.
But for Bisping, he is siding with Aspinall to get the job done and predicting that Tom will successfully defend his title against Gane.
But of course, I do fancy Tom Aspinall to get the job done. The fact that he isn't fighting John Jones is insane, but we've talked about that till the cows come home, so I'm not going to bore you on that subject anymore. But just you wait. John Jones is probably going to pop up on Twitter. If he doesn't beat Cyril Gane as fast as what John did, guaranteed. Who do you think wins that one? I'm leaning towards Tom, but you can't forget about Cyril. The man is a credible threat.
Moreover, Ariel Helwani shared his excitement about seeing Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane locked in as a title fight, saying he loves everything about this matchup. Helwani highlighted how the clash works so well, because while their styles share some similarities, they're also wildly different when it comes to how they deliver damage.
And we all suspected that Tom's first title defense, official title defense, would be against Cyril Gane. That was the only one that was out there that was like, we want it to happen, we would like for it to happen, but they could go in a bunch of different ways. And so when I saw that, I was like, yes, incredible. Love that fight. Love that it's on the same card as the title fight. It should be a #1 contender fight. Love the matchup. Love the style of the two of them coming together. Their fighting styles are similar in some ways because they like to strike, but very different in the way in which they strike. Love everything about it.
To add fuel to the fire, Helwani also pointed out that this fight is bound to draw comparisons to John Jones's bout with Cyril Gane, with fans watching closely to measure how Tom Aspinall handles the same opponent. According to Ariel, if Tom really wants to outshine Jones, he'll need to finish Gane before the 2-minute mark in the first round.
If Tom, so everyone's going to compare Tom's performance to John's performance against Cyril. If Tom wants to try to outdo John's performance, he is going to have to go, unless he gets it at 203 or 202 on the dot, below his.
Yeah. I think Tom knocking out Cyril will be viewed as more significant than Tom submitting Cyril or the way that John submitted Cyril.
No, but I can't wait. It will have been 15 months between fights. His last fight, I do believe, was July 27th, off the top of my head. It was this week last year. I remember because I was in Paris. And he called me in the middle of the night to show me about the hands in the gasoline.
Meanwhile, the MMA Guru questioned why it took so long to announce Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, saying everyone had already expected this matchup to be made. He is all in for what should be an explosive clash.
Gane's got the unlimited title shot glitch. So true. So unbelievably true. And that smug little pretentious French grin. You know what I mean? It's just horrible. It's horrible to see him just sort of waltz his way back into another title shot off of a robbery. However, this was always the fight that was going to happen. And I don't think there was any, conversations otherwise. So in my opinion, this should have been announced when they announced John Jones's retirement. And they should have done that not at a UFC Fight Night post-fight press conference in a one-sentence moment from Dana White. They should have had a moment where they set up a press conference between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane.
Additionally, the MMA Guru did not hold back his prediction, backing Aspinall to come out on top. He described the matchup as a nerve-wracking, high-stakes showdown that could have fans on the edge of their seats from the opening bell. Despite calling it a scary fight, Guru doubled down on his belief that Aspinall will end it dramatically, delivering a knockout in the very first round.
But Aspinall versus Gane, scary matchup. I think Aspinall's going to win by KO in the first round. If Taito Ivasa can ever drop you on your in an MMA fight after you've beaten him up for the whole first round, if he can find a way to find your chin in that second round and drop you at any point in your career, I think Aspinall will find it in the first round. And I do think we'll see a first round Tom Aspinall KO. I'm nervous though, man. You know, if Cyril Gane wins, my life will crumble before my very eyes. You understand this, right? We can't have Cyril Gane win. There's gonna be a conglomerate of MMA fans that are suspiciously pro Gane here for no reason whatsoever.
Furthermore, MMA Guru also pointed out what makes this matchup so intriguing, highlighting that Cyril Gane is a far more elusive and technically polished striker than anyone Tom Aspinall has faced before. He emphasized that Gane's movement and defense make him notoriously hard to hit clean, which adds real danger for Aspinall if he cannot find his mark early.
Tom Aspinall's the correct prediction. It is a very risky matchup. Cyril Gane is very, very technical. Cyril Gane is harder to hit than any former opponent of Tom Aspinall. I just think his grappling is a weakness, and he'll be thinking about that in a fight with Tom. And while you're thinking about that, you've also got to think about being knocked out with any punch you get hit with. So it's just a lot for Gane to worry about, and we know that Gane typically does shit the bed in big moments. But I'm really looking forward to this. But if Gane wins, I'll terminate the channel.
Building on that, analyst and commentator Lucas Tracy weighed in on Tom Aspinall's return, declaring that fans are about to see the best version of Aspinall yet. Tracy believes Aspinall is stepping back into the cage faster, stronger, and tougher than ever before. A fighter who has sharpened every tool in his arsenal and is ready to prove he is the real benchmark of the heavyweight division right now.
This is interesting, because Cyril Gane is, actually, I don't know. I was going to say he's levels above everyone Tom Aspinall's fought on the feet, but then again, I remember Tom Aspinall fought Volkov on the feet and made Volkov look slow and silly. And that's when Tom Aspinall wasn't in his prime. Volkov, when Tom Aspinall fought him in 2022, wasn't as good as he was when he fought Gane in the rematch, where he got robbed and he should have beat Gane. But Aspinall wasn't as good when he fought Volkov as he is now. He's obviously a lot better. He's a lot bigger, hits even harder. And he made Volkov look slow as fuck, and Volkov was able to just outstrike Cyril Gane and beat him.
Moreover, Tracy added that Cyril Gane is the kind of fighter who needs time to build momentum before he can push for the win. He pointed out that Gane is not known for fight-ending power in a single punch. In fact, he has never dropped someone with one clean shot. Instead, Gane's game is all about accumulation, picking opponents apart with flurries of jabs and sneaky switch kicks until he wears them down.
And Gane just doesn't have any pop. Gane is one of these guys that needs to get into the flow. He needs to have landed 50 strikes on you to start slowing you down. He needs to chip away at you with 65, 70 strikes to get you near a KO. I just don't see that happening. I just don't see the threat that he poses to Aspinall. Like, yeah, he'll be able to land some teeps up the middle, couple of leg kicks, but I just don't. Gane doesn't have crazy power in his hands. He's never knocked someone down with a punch, just like one big punch. It's always, he's got to clobber you on the top of the head after catching you with 10 jabs in a row and 5 switch kicks to the body, and you're already like starting to wilt. And then he catches you off the top of the dome and you wobble around before you go down. Aspinall's just not got any reason to have to respect Gane. And I think Aspinall's a better boxer, and I think he's just going to knock Gane out. And yeah, ultimately, like, I see this fight ending in the first couple of minutes. I think Aspinall chins Gane, first 2-minute KO.
Analyst James Lynch weighed in on the state of the heavyweight division, arguing there really was no other contender who made sense for Tom Aspinall right now. In Lynch's view, only Alexander Volkov and Cyril Gane were realistic, credible matchups for Aspinall at this stage.
And again, another fight we kind of figured was going to take place. It was pretty much whether they were going to go with Gane, who did win his last fight technically, or they were going to go with Alexander Volkov. There really weren't any other contenders for Tom Aspinall, in my opinion. I know some people talked about Jailton Almeida. Come on. I mean, Almeida lost a couple fights ago. Gane does make sense in this situation because it's a fresh matchup, right? So I completely understand that. Let's do a quick tale of the tape between these two. Of course, Aspinall becoming the champion with John Jones retiring. So he's the undisputed champ. Aspinall is 32 years old. He's 6'5" with a 78-inch reach. Cyril Gane is 35 years old. He's 6'4" with an 81-inch reach. So Cyril Gane going to have a slight reach advantage in this fight at 81, but Tom Aspinall an inch taller, and Aspinall is going to be a couple years younger as well. Of course, Aspinall has not fought since he went over Curtis Blades in July of 2024.
In addition, James Lynch made no secret of where Tom Aspinall's biggest advantage lies. He pointed out that if this fight goes to the ground, Aspinall holds a massive edge, reminding everyone that Tom has already submitted Alexander Volkov and finished Andrei Arlovski, proving his grappling is a serious threat at heavyweight. Lynch argued that for Tom, it makes perfect sense to take the fight to the ground.
Even if it's on the feet, I think Aspinall has shown that he can hold his own, but on the ground, Aspinall's got a huge advantage. I mean, this is a guy that, is 4 wins by submission, finished, Volkov submitted him in the first round, finished Andrei Arlovski. He's got a good ground game here, and I think if you're Tom, why mess around on the feet? Get this fight to the floor and submit Cyril Gane. And I think he will. I think if you look at Tom Aspinall's career, he is a finisher. He's not someone that goes to the judges' scorecards here, has yet to hit the judges' scorecards in the UFC. Actually, I don't think he's even hit. He hasn't even hit the judges' scorecards in his career. This is a guy that's used to finishing. Now, if he can't finish early, things will get interesting. Gane's got 5-round experience. That should be, something to take note of. But, I think Aspinall wins this fight all day, and I also think he's going to be a pretty big favorite.
Moreover, Lucas Tracy claims that Tom Aspinall holds the edge across the board, from stamina and speed to boxing and the ground game. In his view, it is a pretty safe bet that Aspinall will not just handle Gane, but will likely finish him inside the first round.
And if Gane does a good job at evading the KO shot of Tom Aspinall, and again, he was able to do it against Ngannou, but Aspinall's faster than Ngannou, better technique than Ngannou. If he's able to evade it, Aspinall could just take him down. And if Gane is getting controlled by Ngannou, and if Gane is getting controlled by Volkov, Aspinall is going to twist him into a pretzel. First round finish for Aspinall. I'll say KO, but he might get a submission.
Adding to that, MMA Guru took his prediction a step further, suggesting that if Tom Aspinall does get past Cyril Gane, fans could be looking at an even bigger spectacle down the line, a potential showdown between Aspinall and Alex Pereira. He floated the idea that Pereira might chase history by stepping up yet again, aiming to become the UFC's first ever 3-division champion.
And this is exactly what Pereira winning means. If Pereira knocks out Ankalaev in this rematch, and Aspinall knocks out Cyril Gane, we're getting Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira at heavyweight for 3 belts. Now that is going to be absolute cinema. That is going to be the most amazing thing ever. So I'm hoping that that's the way the stars align. That would be the perfect way to move on from the stain of the sport.
Furthermore, Bedtime MMA took a swipe at Cyril Gane's motivation, claiming Gane has no real passion for holding the heavyweight title or fighting at UFC. According to Bedtime MMA, Gane is simply using the UFC platform to boost his name and gain traction rather than chasing greatness inside the cage.
It's just funny, bro. Like, the thing is, I think if Gane had a really, really solid chance to beat Aspinall, I would be mad. Right, like if I thought that there was a chance Gane could fluke this, I would be really upset. But Cyril Gane does not give a about being the UFC champion. This guy doesn't care. He is here to get Instagram followers, play FIFA, around with a little bit of string, lose the title fight, sit around for a year, come back in Paris, beat up Aldo Cortez Acosta or something, and then try and get another title shot when there's another vacant new champion of the division. That's what Cyril Gane does. This is what he does. It's illegal. Alien. That's what he does.
Interestingly, Bedtime MMA doubled down on his take with an exaggerated jab that the only way he could see Cyril Gane winning was if Tom was completely disabled. According to him, Tom's skill is levels above, which leaves no room for doubt.
Because I'm sorry, bro. Unless Tom Aspinall steps on a piece of glass walking into the cage, tears both MCLs walking it. Oh, me MCLs. You know, does both knees, loses vision in one of his eyes. I think he will absolutely demolish Ciryl Gane. This guy literally is devolving backwards. His striking is getting worse. He was getting rocked and pieced up by Volkov. His grappling has always been like he rolls for a heel hook. Other than that, he has no fight IQ, no urgency off his back. He is just a victim for Tom Aspinall. That's really the only way I can put this.
In the end, with the stage set and opinions flying, all eyes now turn to Abu Dhabi on October 25th. However, one thing is certain, this fight is extremely dangerous and promises fireworks. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat, and we will see you in the next video with more exciting updates.